afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, another amazing, and maddening Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda, Hero Strike, Defender of the Fatherland, off here till 1 vs 1 on Angleville. Yes, indeed, the pleasant rolling fields of Angleville is where this battle will be taking place, somewhere on the Eastern Front. Possibly the Ukraine, though. We got Gastrodon fighting for the Red Army of the Soviet Union, the third mechanized corps charging ahead here against the fascist lines, ready to bash their way towards Warsaw. In the south, we got Jove here, forming up a counterattack to stop this motorized spearhead of socialism. With a punch here from the Großdeutschland Panzerdivision, and we got breakthrough, we got fortifications, we got Spec Up versus Gastrodon's armored assault tactics, double infantry recognized for Jove versus one penal trooper, and double HD5s here from Gastrodon, increasing the armor penetration by 7%, a full 7%, meaning they can do a bit of extra there. But ours a penal trooper start here, which is very much, I would say, the sort of standard opening versus the Oberkommando, since penal troopers backed up by scout cars can be quite the tricky bit of bastards for an Oberkommandos player to deal with, depending on the circumstances. Jove here with the standard double Volksturmpioneer, no Kugelwagens, which against the Soviets tend to get very quickly shut down with the scout car anyways. Aggressive playing here with the Sturmpioneers, so the Volks can sort of take a slightly more leisurely pace to the battlefield. Yeah, I really like the vessels today. Yeah, absolutely no bombers or fighters. Or blimps. Blimps? Yeah, I think I saw one once. Sturmpioneers moving westwards. Scout car, they're almost done for Gastrodon. Down here, Fulters arriving there for Jove. Third squad there, and there you go. Note the way he's taking that, getting behind the engineers, cutting off the retreat path a bit, they're threatening him more. And of course, it's just hitting there from an angle imagine Gastrodon isn't anticipating. Gastrodon, they're reclaiming the car front, we'll have to see how that works out. Fulters here with sandbags up over for the fuel, putting up defended. Good work there. Fulters to do with engineers. Sturmpioneers seem to be just moving in to grab the other point. And there we go, we've got the M31 wing out here for Gastrodon versus Sturmpioneers, who can do some damage to the scout car. They do have a bit of penetration in the version, that way can actually do some heavy damage. In fact, you've got two Sturmpioneer squads. They can theoretically actually take down the scout car on their own reasonably consistently, but on the single squad, it's not too consistent in fact. Or at least not enough, so you risk rather losing the Sturmpioneers, and Jove has to retreat. And right here now we can see Gastrodon turn the tables, and Jove in fact could wipe out the unit on retreat, which would be quite a blow to Jove in the early game. 300 manpower gone, in particular 300 manpower, which can always do some serious damage. In this case, fortune smiles upon Jove and the German army. And the west here follows with engineers pushing up further eastwards here, but the west is rapidly falling in upon itself. As Gastrodon then rolls ahead with the M3A1, the white scout car, as was known. Was primarily used by Soviet reconnaissance units known as the Rotarazvetki, sort of a unit meant to scout ahead and find weak spots, then actually clock them up and hold them until, you know, the rest of the army could sort of arrive, if I recall correctly. But there might admittedly be a few flaws there, but always sort of reconnaissance units, they were using them. Scout car there being rapidly fixed up by engineers. Pinsels flanking in here. Second one also around there for Gastrodon, setting up positions here. Penning in Jove here a bit in the east. His Sturmpioneers, they're good to go once more. Moving up here, engineers being slightly engaged. We're going to go for the victory point there. Western one claimed as well, but the Volksgunners, we got the scout car rolling hit, now the engineers in it. And most likely he's going to go for the flamethrower upgrade anytime soon, since the scout car and flamethrower upgrade in the engineers tends to be very much, you know, very popular combo. And very much one that just sort of, you know, fits like a glove. Third scout car, or penal trooper on the way for Gastrodon, our third scout car. He is not, by some magical measure, decided to go for M3A1. That'd be a bit silly. Jove there taking up, that's most likely in the battle group headquarters. There could be mechanized regiment. I mean, Luke's here could also be quite helpful. All the way, scout car rolling ahead here, charging straight at Jove. Dashing away there, forces dealing here with the advancing penal trooper, still without a serious anti-tank weapon. The scout car is going to be a massive issue here for Jove, for the Großdeutschland Panzerdivision. Full to the close being wiped out, the 5th car there and mounted on the front, plus the engineers are doing quite some damage. Full to the forced to retreat, and again they have to retreat early because otherwise the scout car has a very good chance of wiping them. That's essentially the problem with the scout car, but like this, and as free moving as it is, it's going to be very difficult for Jove to maintain engagement for long, because if he then makes a wrong call, the scout car just mops it up. So he's going to have to get the take up fast and get the Panzer first up. Belgrove headquarters mechanized. He does go for the mechanized. He wants the looks, which is very much, I mean, in many ways, standard Oberkommando meta to the degree that, of course, Belgrove headquarters still popular. Flat half tracks, maybe less so, but looks as certainly sees a lot of usage. Mines up here. Clear move. We'll have to see if the Gastrodon takes the bait Seems like in this case Gastrodon did not. He just decided to take a longer path because he can. Like I said, Jove is somehow, I think, trying to bait him into, but not trying to take it too obvious. I mean, had he been successful, that would have been great for Jove. So obviously, I mean, the scout car going down, possibly getting the engineers in his side of as well, which is now halfway filled with dead corpses. Get Dimitri off me! He's dead! Exactly! Get him off me! You can't aim these things. Nice throw, thanks! And tossing out their borders as well. So this is the mechanized reactor. That's going to be a look, so that's going to be a bit delayed here. Joe's fuel supply has been cut off there expertly by Gastrodon. And go Pumes will take the mine instead. Grabbing the fuel pump in the east as well, because of course that's been cut off. So for all intents and purposes, it's going to be slightly less than relevant here for Joe. Scout cars can each repairs. On the engineer squad doing some reinforcement. Got medics out as well there for Gastrodon. Jove has yet to commit to a doctrine. We'll have to see what it ends up with. I mean, if you sort of go by the usual meta, otherwise Spec Ops, in particular the Mechanized Regiment, tends to be very popular. Fortification also. Breakthrough is less popular, though I still think it's pretty solid, but, you know, it doesn't have a big command panther you can call in. And the Yaktig is just nowhere near as good. Mines up in the car point. Photos there versus the M3A1. Quick pants fast in the advancing scout car. There we go. Getting some damage in, but also taking some heavy damage in return. And there you go. Otto gets off with the Panzerfaust. And finally the scout car is almost down, but it's still kind of there. Despite being American made, it has proven to be rather durable. But Otto, I sort of feel say American made stuff is actual garbage. Such things seem pretty durable. Just shut up and run. Picks up the scout car, the Sturmpanzers as the penal troopers there caught in a bad spot. They just forced to retreat. Back at healing reinforcement there goes. As soon as Jove can, he calls in the Lux. Lighter Aufklärungspanzer, Panzer that's going to put some pressure on Gastrodon, who's otherwise actually not fully equipped to deal with it. A T-7 is going to some time off, similar to the SM6. He's going to have to go for the anti-tank rifles. And that means he's going to have to, of course, cut down on anti-infantry in the meanwhile to sort of deal with that. The Guardian Enemy Fedor here for Jove to help deal with infantry. Very good choice there. It's going to make it hard for Gastrodon to use his penal troopers freely. Mine goes off again. Joe's mining is definitely paying off. Definitely see it versus Gastrodon. Looks halfway done. And of course, it is worth noting he's not bothering with Kedmers, at least for now. He's just trying to stall the scout car in every other way. He probably wasn't expecting, you know, he got abandoned there and thusly survived a lot of punishment there from Joe. Rather, to an extent, rendering that 70 or 50 munitions there a bit null and void. Just a bit. Back here, the human reinforcement looks almost done there for Joe. Almost. You can almost taste the fumes there of the Lux as it rolls past him. Skirmishing out here, and there you go. Looks Aufklärungspanzer out here for Job and the Großdeutschland Panzer to be shown. I believe the Großdeutschland would have not few divisions actually received it, or they would have gotten the Panzer 38T version. Either way, they probably would have gotten some reconnaissance tanks. Fun fact, since the Großdeutschland was pretty much one of the premier elite Panzer divisions in the German army. Looks moving in here, going to engage here. Gastrodon's infantry with its 2cm autocannon. Pushing up the eastern side as well. We got minesweepers up here. Jove is taking no chance here with Gastrodon though. Gastrodon hasn't actually laid down any mines. Jove of course is not going to assume otherwise. Jove, even if he's been away for some time, still an experienced player, and obviously knows that assuming your opponent doesn't lay down mines is begging to be mined. But there you go. Enter tank rifles there inside. The scout coast trying to form a tank hunter team there, but at least motorized one, but that didn't quite work out there. Joe was onto it before Gastrodon knew what's happening, blew up the scout car. Gastrodon is now able to fill up here with a T7. Let's go put some pressure there on Jove. Looks with 2 kills, slowly approaching Metron 2-1. We got more anti-tank rifles up here for Gastrodon and the 3rd Mechanized Corps. Jove's look continues just to hammer away here. And here we got full soldiers engineers grabbing the fuel point almost done. Also they got the little point here. Joseph and obviously good state here versus Gastrodon with most of the map within his control. And here Job decides I think to try and finish early. He's committing to double luxes. Not something we've seen a lot lately, but there was a brief period where I would say Soviet and Oberkommand's players basically have the strongest light tanks by the way. sort of, you know, they're very much committed to just, you know, going all in on them, trying to finish the match off fast. It's a rare strategic move, but it is one that if you pull off successfully, it can very much deal over the opponent, because either of these light tanks, 2 T-70 or 2 Luxes, can really do some heavy anti-infantry damage and thusly have a good chance of closing off the match fast. So this is basically, I think, what Jove is aiming for. He just wants to end the fight now. If those 2 Luxes then can go unstopped here, he's going to have a, well, good chance of winning. Of course, if it gets countered, then Jove has put himself into a really disadvantageous position, because then he's committed to 2 light tanks without getting sufficient return on it. And I mean, 2 Luxes is a lot of resources. That is 120 fuel. That's going to slow down any other tech as well. So if he does not get good value from it, it doesn't straight up win the match. This could actually give Gastrodon a big edge over Jove. So this is going to have to be, you know, properly done there by Jove and the Großdeutschland. In this case, it's worth noting out he's not going to concentrate them. He's going to split them up, so that way sort of trying to affect the map overall. Bit riskier. That's going to require much better, I would say, micromanagement here from Jove to actually maintain control of these 2 light tanks, because with all these anti-tank rifles and of course anti-tank such as about, this could always mean one mistake and his Lux is going to be toast. And there we go, Pims moving up here, and we in fact might be seeing exactly that scenario I just mentioned there. Pims going within range, anti-tanks have to be off, and that's going to be that Lux. So there we go. A bit of the danger with these sort of maneuvers, we're not only dispersing your firepower to that when you try and control more of the map, but it also means, again, if you make a mistake, you lose it very fast, and that's basically what happened here. So while I can understand what Jove was doing here, I feel like the execution of it was, well, obviously not optimal. Mines going off there, so we can see that Gastrodon's laying down mines, but oh yeah, that's 60 munitions, more or less down the drain alongside the manpower, so not a good thing doing there for Jove. Great though for Gastrodon. He now knows that Jove has, well, you know, thrown away 60 fuel, meaning he doesn't have to worry about any sort of fast Panzer IV, Obersoldaten, or Panthers. This is huge for Gastrodon. Now he can consider himself just taking ahead. He could also go for double T-70 if he wants to, but more likely I think he's just going to try and take ahead and, you know, pull for T-34 here versus Jove and trying to finish off the match himself as fast as possible. Panzer fast here. He might be able to get a bit of engine taking out the T-70 with the Lux, which would be helpful here for Jove. That's going to be a bit close here, and really close. In fact, we got the anti-tank pills moving up here. Others are not being upgraded though. Of course, it could maybe work like going to happen. You'll suddenly pop up there, and there you go. Got the Lux. Small win here for Jove. Bit of vengeance. He's still got decent map control, but he's closer to losing his light tank. There's some brutal stuff going on there, some brutal stuff back here. We got healing force going on there for Jove, in theory anyways. Truck moving up, cancelled actually the truck. Might have been a bit too early there, which would certainly indicate he's not planning for spec ops. Obviously just gone for the battle group headquarters and again stalled, but is he planning something else, which means he actually wants to go for the Schwerpunkt headquarters? And we got the doctoral choice. It is breakthrough. We haven't seen that one in a bit, but it's going to be the Panzer facilities here. 6-man squad and getting the G for the feast. That means Jove is going to have an incredible amount of infantry on the field. 4 Volksgrenadiers, 1 Sturm Pioneer, and the Panzer Facility Squad versus Gastrodon's 4 Penal Troopers. This is actually going to be quite a challenge there for Gastrodon, because half the Penal Troopers up go down to tank rifles. His T-70 squad, he does lack a few counters then. We can see a breakthrough tax being utilised as well. Jove is going all in the breakthrough here to break through Gastrodon. Excellent work. Gastrodon, by the way, exploding a lot of manpower. He could consider more Pumes, but consider sniper. In this case, back-taking for the support company is not a bad idea either. It does cost a bit of fuel there away from what he otherwise probably wants with his tanks, but a Maxim right now for example would be great. Maybe some field guns and some other stuff, and he's going to need the field gun probably to help deal with the Lux. Could also consider mortar, but Maxims and the field gun here would be, I think, strong choice for Gastrodon. Meanwhile, Jove's Volksgrenadiers is moving ahead. Others advancing even further ahead, and we got the Lux moving in here. Virtually 2 7 kills for Deutschland. So there you go. Got the spawn company up here for Gastrodon. Maximum away. Very good, very good. Jove rapidly advancing across the ground here. His Panzer facility is ready. Fun fact, the Panzer Grenadiers of the Großdeutschland were actually known as Panzer facilities. It was a title given to them. So, you know, designate them being a bit more special. It would be a title that sort of catch on with other units down the road. For example, the Ardennes, there were the Fjord Begleiter and Fjord Grenadier Brigade, which also had the Panzerfusilier battalions, but they were because they'd been formed from the protection units around the Wolfschanze on the Eastern Front, which were themselves drawn from the Großdeutschland. It actually caused the Western Allies to believe that the Großdeutschland had been positioned to support the Ardennes assault. Fun fact. But yeah, little fun bits there. Here, sort of, they used them as sort of reconnaissance units, but they're just basically panzer grenadiers that were sort of, in a sense, more elite. They might have confused it with the Fusilier, which was actually an infantry unit element, which is sort of half reconnaissance unit, half sort of elite soldier within the basic infantry divisions and the Volksgrenadier divisions. So there you go. Field gun on the way there for Gastrodon. Looks like he needs to be careful, needs to fall back. A few mistakes will be costly. We've got the field gun falling up here, so we'll have to see how Gastrodon's going to turn this around here versus Jove, who's right now, I would say, in a pretty strong situation. Truck around, that's most likely going to be the Schwerpanzer quarters. He's got the resource with that more than plenty. They got the Sturmoffizier leading at the front. Very nice to see someone actually get the Sturmoffizier up, by the way. Pretty strong here, of course. Oberstleutnant here, plus the officer himself. Actually a pretty solid infantry unit that way. On top of that, you get target them and force retreat, which of course are also very handy abilities. But there you go, Sturmoffizier close to being wiped out, forced to retreat. Looks pulling back here. We got repair pioneers up there for Jove. Good decision there. Straight into the MU-34. There were the penal troopers on the Maximus repressing the MU-34. Basically gets right past, moving out the west here. We got mechanized armor company getting up for Gastrodon as well. Still going to be a battle if we want to push out armor, but the sooner the better, I would certainly say. As for Jove, there will still be some time before we can get out any tanks. The double Luxus will certainly help with that. So even if he's getting out the Schwerpanzer quarters here, there's a chance that the Gastrodon can get a tank first to say rushes out a T-34 from 6, at least puts up enough fuel control against Jove. So we'll see where that ends up. Lux is fixed up here though for Jove and the Großdeutschland. Unfortunately, they're pursuing the Maxim. Assault was the being handed out here to Jove's Volksgrenadier. Panzer standing about here, Fulton's here, and he got Fulton's all the way over there. Might be there, it's going a bit too much on there for Joe. I mean, he's got 6 infantry squads, so that is a lot to manage. And something to the hull splitting up, it looks just like that. It can result in him losing side of some of all these units, which can in theory make it easy for Gastrodon to gain some wipes, depending on the circumstances. Schwerpanzer quarters up. Gastrodon is down to just 4 fuel per minute. That is pretty bad, but there you go. Catches the Panzers off guard here in the east. Very good, very good. Got a flank up, you're going to try and surprise the Lux here. Oh, nice hit from the field gun, nice hit. Probably won't be able to finish it off, but still getting a nice hit like that is going to help Gastrodon out notably. It's going to allow him to be a bit more aggressive here versus Jove and the Großdeutschland. There you go, Kevin spotted. Oh, he's not retreating in time. There you go, does retreat, but it's a bit delayed there. Got the officer coming things up there. 7 kills already. I mean, again, the officer can get a surprisingly large amount of killing in there, actually. Again, part of it's just the fact that it's an Oberstleutnant squad, almost just short 1 man, essentially. But again, got the Luger there, which kind of works out. Got a rest from the Western Fuel Heats game. There we go, cut off. Bit of a loss there for Gastrodon. He's still closing in on armor, but the reality is, Joe at this stage might just be able to get a Panther fast, unless he's, say, going for the Panther, which would be an interesting move. Then again, he's got a ton of infantry plus the officer, so I mean, he doesn't have to worry about as much as infantry as such. So the Panther could work out there to sort of shore himself up versus enemy armor. Gastrodon is not too far off there from any tanks, though again, still some time. The harassment there from Joe has been very effective, and of course very consistent. But Gastrodon is doing his best here to push forwards for the motherland to stop the fascists. And there you go, Luke setting out again, almost threateningly free. And there you go, hitting the fuel point. Mining up here as well, very good, very good. There you go, mines laid down. Oh, they caught on the mine. Ooh, close one, they didn't get it off. That was really lucky there for Gastrodon, really lucky. Even then, he might still end up losing engineers to some, like just all the troops. And again, note the way Jove moves again. Once more moves in to try and cut off the retreat path of the engineers, because any wipe here, of course, is going to be great for Jove. So good play there by Jove. Good play, maximum repulse here. Fulton as engineers. Troops healing reinforcing, same here. Gastrodon can very soon go for the T-34-16. Of course, you might want to go for the H-5 or even the T-34-85. Engineers standing about, and there goes small push there. Troops healing reinforcing. Jove seizing as much as he can there once more. Gastrodon's fuel income is once more heading off a cliff. It's down to just 10 fuel per minute now. IS-2 a lot, but Gastrodon resource wise is far removed from academic called in. I mean, 90 fuel is what he's got. It's going to take 230, and at this income rate, I mean, he's going to be at least, well, 14 minutes away from it. Instead, he, I think, very wisely goes for the T-34-6. Nowhere near as strong as the IS-2, but A, faster, and still pretty impactful. So if Gastrodon can get some good mileage out of the T-34-6, you should have a good chance of applying some heavy pressure to Joe, maybe and turn things around more seriously and set out for an IS-2. God damn it. My apologies to viewers, my apologies. And meanwhile, Jove is aiming for the Panzerkampfwagen 5, again seemingly relying on the sheer amount of infantry he's brought forwards. He's going to focus on an armour that gives him the advantage in armoured engagement. The Panther very much fulfills that role. Big time. There you go, T-34-76 out. It's only going to be tricky here for Gastrodon to fight with the Panther about, but until then he should, I think, try and get as much damage in as he can. Obviously Gastrodon doesn't know about it yet. He's only going to hear about it once it hits. But of course at this stage he might begin to have suspicions about the possibility of an incoming Panther. All the way, if you get rid of the Lukes, that's going to help Gastrodon out here notably. Almost got the bastard, and there you go. Lukes is kaput. Panther out here. Of course he knows this unless he wasn't paying attention, in which case he might not. Oh, he couldn't. He gets the Sturm Pioneers as well. A double blow there to Jove. Sturm Pioneers and the Lukes is down. That's going to hurt Jove there a bit. Not a ton because it still has the repair pioneers and the mechanized remedy. Still, that is a pretty good infantry unit gone. Though, of course, it still has the Volksgrenadiers, has the Panzergrenadiers, and has the Sturmoffizier to back them all up. So, not exactly earth-shattering blow there against Joe. But there you go. For those of the Panther, field gun backing up here. Joe very wisely pulls back his Panther, realises that is not going to end up 2-1. There you go. Cell penetration hits and the Panzerkampfwagen replacement Sturm Pioneers here for Joe, so he's clearly intent on them, which is worth noting. Oh, smokes him over into the field gun barrage, so that could have been quite painful since they were basically in a march formation. Pimps against the Raketenwerfer. Slow creep ahead here. T-34 being repaired up. And there you go, maximum to sort of stall up the Germans' infantry. There you go, full support. They're suppressed in the east, bit of skirmishing as well here. Panzergrenadiers is ranging ahead of the rest of the forces to repulse the rations. Maximuming up. Mortar would be, I think, helpful here for Gastrodon, considering how sometimes Jove is bunching up his troops. Maximum stress on the officer, very good. And some of the Volksgrenadiers. Panthers heading up once more here for the German army. T-34 almost down there for Gastrodon. Well, obviously he commits to more, so you just try and swarm Jove here and rely on raw firepower. He's going to go for something else. Oh, moving up the T-34 and biting the Volksgrenadiers. Officer retreated. In fact, the officer seems to be what you call dead. And there you go, Volksgrenadier squad's almost being wiped here by the T-34. 6 kills, close to 82. Great work there for Gastrodon and the Red Army. Points are being secured, mines are being laid down. And back here, healing reinforcement going in there for Gastrodon, setting up for the next big push for the Red Army. As Joe prepares for the same thing here for Germany. Deutschland. Fixing up the Panther here. Preparing it for the next big push. The Panzerkampfwagen 5. And there you go, Panzer was caught here by the T-34-6, gaining Metro 2. That's bad news here for the infantry as it gains, well, better, actually more importantly, better rate of fire, which of course also helps us the tanks, but certainly is really miserable for the infantry in particular. The T-34-6 being pretty solid versus infantry, in fact, overall. Oh, there we go, got a wipe. Volker squad down there for Joe, quite unpleasant there. Of great for Gastrodon though. 12 kills on the T-34 and the 6. Mine's being hit on the western coast of the victory point there. Joe still has a lead, but Gastrodon might slowly be catching up here. Might be at this stage going for the T-34, the T-35. Sturmpanzer rushing up, he needs to get through to deal with that. Looks like there's going to be a convergent engagement. The problem is Gastrodon's only converging with a single tank and a penal to score, so that's not going to be enough to sort of stop Jove's major push in the west. But there you go, almost gotten a lot with the T-34 once more. It proves itself to be really solid at dealing with infantry. I cannot stress enough how good it is. Good penetration here on the T-Panther there. T-34 bounce on the other hand. And these scrums continue out here. Sturmpanzer is holding out against the Pune troops are doing their best to break down the sandbag, but they're going in the carve point. Could rush in with another Sturmpanzer. On the west seems to be here. The Gastrodon's giving ground here to Jove's advance. Lacking the tools to stop the core starts in for now here. Close to getting a weapon, taking a quarter with the scrap hunted quarters. Allowing here Jove's infantry marine cut the officer backing up the Panzer Fusiliers. An excellent tactical strike force there by Jove. Jove hasn't been using much of the abilities, at least he's using the officer, and of course there's still the passive aura there, which is pretty good. Most players use it for blobbing, but so far Jove isn't quite using it there, which is nice to see. Fox is moving ahead. And Gastrodon here commits to the T-45, aiming for more infantry, still shoring up as the tanks, in particular the Panther. Obviously the T-45 is not going to be a huge cannon, but see with sufficient armour he can overwhelm the Panther, and until then he can probably keep it away. Though of course he can only keep it away for so long until the Panther reaches any serious amount of veterans. But so far though, it's actually not gaining a lot. I mean, it's not been doing a lot of damage, not been doing a lot of engagements, and of course, you know, the T-34 is just veterans up fast, so theoretically you're going to flank the Panther with a veteran 3-1, maybe combine with the T-45. You've got to have a good chance of taking out the Panther. We'll have to see what Joe ends up with next. He could actually go for a Panther 4, he could even commit to a second Panther, which could be a big problem there for Gastrodon. Setting up for deep flanking with the T-34, excellent work. Of course he has to hope his opponent hasn't been laying down mines, but there you go. Jove's west flank is collapsing and is just advancing up the east unimpeded, and more or less a repeat of what happened just some moments ago with Gastrodon just meeting up with this no resistance instead. Panther setting up, then engaging the units out in the open. So far, main gun's not doing a lot of damage to most of the machine gun there. Cutting down a Boris in cold blood. In the east there we go, we got the T-44 moving in here with its 85mm gun, and of course its hull and coaxial machine gun. The Russians were not big users of pistol mounted machine guns actually, though I think it was only in the IS-2 and the IS-3 they actually used them. It will catch on with in the Cold War though, but until then they did not have a lot. They mostly because the tanks docked and rather specified the crews drove around with their hatches shot overall, which all meant they had actually had poor overview of the situation. Compared to the German docks, and actually more or less had them always drive with the hatches open so the commander could get a better overview. Of course it exposed the commander more, but overall in most tank engagement kind of wanted to see better what's going on, as it usually gives the advantage. I mean, if you see the other bastards first, you usually win as a rule of thumb. T-44 moving out here, T-44 is holding up as well, and there you go, Panther moving in, clearing out in this case a lot of masonry to open up here for the scrap hunted quarters. Nice move, Panther almost down there for Jove, so he's aiming for that. T-44 push back here by the Panther. T-44 6 almost down there for Gastrodon. There we go, Panther work for Joe. And the Ghost Dodging up north here, T-44 advancing on the Fultz Grenadiers. 14 kills. 15 kills. Panther swooping to the rescue once more for Deutschland. There you go, Fultz push back, field gun shoots, and lands a decent hit on the Panther. The T-44 moving in here. The T-45 that is. Also known as occasionally as the T-43 by the Germans. Fun note there. Shot bounce off the Panther's army, Fultz moving up here for the minefields of Gastrodon. Quickly compelling to pull in a tank to sort of try and stall that. The victory points wise is saying bleeding out Jove here, they're not an awful lot at the moment. Forces in a bit of trouble. Got the T4 engaging. Pills was backing up. Here close to thin. There you go. Academy lands an excellent hit on the T4 to put 5 frontal armor. Another hit. And here Gastrodon goes for the Katyusha. I'm not sure that's a good idea, mostly because Jove is not exactly playing a static game. He's not digging in. He's very flexible, mobile, and all his defenses, all that. So he risks the Katyusha actually not being very effective, in particular because also most of his defenses are centered around the tank. So in this regard, Gastrodon probably benefit more from initiative 5 and another T-5, so that way try and fight the tanks more consistently, because the Katyusha is not very good against it. So this feels a bit like a wrong call there by Gastrodon. And certainly, I mean, we have seen a lot of players just keep going for like rocket launcher vehicles or whatever, like land mattresses. Even when they're like in primary threat it's actually on, they'll still commit to like rocket artillery rather than getting out something to tackle the enemy armored better. And it seems like Gastrodon is slightly heading down this road as well. T for the force from 6 still, half H to 3. That is pretty great there for Gastrodon. The casualties suffering less so, but he did actually get away with a cannon there for that. Pretty solid. Jove going for another machine gun. He was the first one doing its part here for Deutschland. There you go. Van Granada attempting the field gun to push that away, but almost lost the foot squat in the process. Panther almost veterans 1, also 3 kills, and there you go. Go here on the rearm of the T-45, and there you go. Panther hits veterans 1, but does take punching hits. They're taking down to half health. Katyusha off on the machine gun. Rather far removed in this case, doesn't do it. Oh, there we go. Spoke too soon, does get a few hits in. Mine hit. Heading southwards, points are being secured. Up here we got healing reinforcement going on there for Gastrodon. Hits into a mine. Talking about the tanks and the Katyusha. And a bit of healing reinforcement. Again, I feel like the Katyusha is again not the best choice. Obviously I could be proven wrong easily, but it's certainly sort of a more specific weapon where you sort of choose for an opponent who's heavily dug in. And again, Jove is not digging in very hard, not in the static sense anyways, which tends to diminish the Katyusha's efficiency, since it then either requires Jove to be bunched up, which you can usually happen between the defending, or you need to be just not moving at all. So a few risks there. Machine gun powered pointing in the wrong direction. Heinz? Yeah, I think they're not going to attack from there. In this case, they might attack here, but the problem is they also attack from the north. There we go, got a wipe there. In fact, wiped out. Gastrodon's remaining engineer, and that's a bit of a problem there. Otherwise, Gastrodon's actually got most of the map here versus Jove. That's pretty good. But I'm surprised, despite having all of these issue to 5 bulletins, despite having a tank that would really, be good for him to counter with an initiative 5. He's actually not going for it. It just feels a bit weird there by Gastrodon, to be honest. Feels a bit weird. Still getting machine gun is pretty great with T-54s. Again, I know are really good at dealing with infantry. I certainly feel like people are underestimating the ability just to deal with infantry. I mean, that is really strong. In particular against the sort of say smaller squads there of the Germans. Though obviously in this case, Jove has a bit more benefit from the Ober Commander vest. Machine gun didn't get his hands on, still get something up there. Katyusha again here around the field point. Rockets flying through the air. Got a single, 2 kills actually, slightly better there, slightly better. But beyond the impact is still minimal. Troops are being pushed back. Skirmishing out. People's about to get wiped out. If Jove isn't paying attention. Oh, not Jove, Gastrodon. Machine gun there slowly approaching Virginia 3. Panther falling back. Half 8 to Virginia 2. Both of Gastrodon's tanks will need repairs. And he should probably go for the issue 5 next. I mean, he could stall for the IS-2, but I think the current situation isn't quite allowing him for that. Partly because he's got too many units. I mean, in that regard, the IS-2 probably could also be a better choice than the Katyusha here. Breakthrough again here for Jove. Great usage of that ability. Really strong one. And really good for harassing, cutting off, and just swooping ahead. So nice to see Jove then making use of it. I mean, he's actually made use of 3 abilities out of the doctrine, which is more than most people ever go for with Breakthrough. Though he hasn't done much with the officer's ability himself. Though he has made, again, good use of him. 13 kills and not getting wiped is pretty solid. Pretty solid. There you go. Nicely timely seeing Alpine's anti versus Gastrodon's advancing forces. Panzers could hit for the victory point there. T-34 hanging back. Super close to Veteran 3 in the ace level there for Gastrodon. Close range Raketov shot actually bounces off the Panzer IV's armor. Pretty lucky there for Jove, though obviously his luck does not last forever. They go down to half health, and the anti-tank rocks are further making things uncomfortable. They got to moving forwards. Close level 5 barrage, T-34 6 creeping around there in the east, far east. Can fire now. And Gastrodon's got the fuel for Nation 5. Of course, at this stage, he could try and solve for the IS-2, though I'm not entirely sure I'd recommend it. Panther at work, 5 kills. Repulsing the penal troopers there. Maxim actually very close to 53 there for Gastrodon. Pretty good. Got the officer there with an anti-tank rifles. Anti-tank rifle, not rifles, that's plural. I'm an idiot. No soldiers falling back, got the info backing up here. Maxim heading for the fuel point in, we got the Panther moving in, close to 52 as well. And go striking the Maxim crew. Half the crew just gone in the blink of an eye as they're sundered apart. In the east, machine gun officers and soldiers are just fighting away there. Penals are there being besieged. But there you go. This time he actually bunch up. This is actually a decent Katyusha target here for Gastrodon. And because the Katyusha is too far away, by the way, it's actually not very accurate. So most of the rockets are completely missing the mark. And that's the other issue with the Katyusha. You kind of have to get close for it to be effective. In this case, you can actually have a good target and still whiff. Another reason to be careful about going for it in general. It is not in that way as well a consistent weapon. Tossing the high cooldown. And I generally again do not recommend Katyusha unless again your opponent really dicks in hard and presents a really good target. Mine hit there. T-34 dealing with the foot gun, Panzers there, field gun, Raketov moving up here as well. Had that Katyusha bash been successful, that would have been pretty great there for Gastrodon, would have been critical there for Jove. That's how that didn't quite work out there. Troops being wiped out, field gun bow cleared out. That's a really big problem there for Gastrodon. That's problem is better counters at the moment for the Panther, since the Katyusha's obviously not going to do it. And he's likely going to lose like Ketnev as well. Jove's Panther by about to hit Veteran 2. T-34 from 6 without much in repairs. And straight forward here. Panzers there being engaged by the T-45. Engineers actually laying down mines. He needs more engineers that repairs T-34 from 6. He's down to less than 100 points here versus Jove's 362. And he's going for another track. That's going to be the battle group headquarters at this stage, I guess. He's probably not going to go for the King Tiger unless suddenly he gets enough population for it. But it doesn't hurt to set up for it. Plus, the battle group headquarters would allow him to have to manage less inside his base as well. Now sweeping flank here for Jove.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
Panther getting the penal troopers, 20 kills for Deutschland. Big flank being set up here by Gastrodon on the way to T-34s. T-34 shoots, misses, Katyusha fire off. And he's trying to bleed out Jove's infantry, obviously, but a pair of tanks would probably do the job just as well, if not better, since they're more consistent about it. T-34 almost down, Panther go gains 22, that's a big problem here for Gastrodon, who again is lacking severely in tank destroyers. Even the T-34 is going to be a bit of struggle here with the Veteran 2 Panther's armor. Okay, another flanking up on the Panther. Nice work here by Gastrodon. In this case, he seemed to have missed. There we go. That actually hit. Ooh, shot bounce. Still got in some hits there on the Panther. But that's about it here for Gastrodon and the Red Army. Kinesis at the battle group head was a bit preoccupied with the matters. Panther 4 setting out. Panther 5 needs repairs, and we got the force moving to deal with engineers.
We are losing supplies to the enemy.
Self-repairs being enacted. Other one awaiting self-repair orders. There you go. There we go. Got the veteran 3 Panzer Facility moving in. Sweeping away the teams that were there for Gastrodon like they were trash. On the yellow brick road to the city of Berlin. The glorious visit who resides there. Panther 4, they're dealing with the Strafniki. Got the Panthers sitting out there. Pushing their way there with fire and fury. They're dealing with the Strafniki out in the open. Slowly gutting them. Katyusha sitting up here, and that's going to fire away right into the bunch of troops here. This time much closer, but infantry can still get away. This one as the first barrage goes off, and Jove for some reason decides to stick about. It's not going to work. And there you go. Jove sees the opportunity, rushes the Katyusha with the Panther, knocks out the Katyusha. Leaving Gastrodon now, but that was rocket artillery, which in the end really didn't do a lot versus Jove. In part because, I mean, the main threat really sort of shifted over to the armour, and the Katyusha was never going to help versus that. So there you go, a nice little fight here on Angerville. Jove, I would say, overall displaying some good play there. Nice use of breakthrough, which again we rarely see from the Oberkommandowist. Some nice flanks, some nice manoeuvres, good mines and all that. Gastrodon, I think, had some good opportunities, but rather squandered them. Partly, again, I think the issue is just that Katyusha. That Katyusha, I think, was a really poor choice. Should have gone for the HT5 or more T-34s, but I think the HT5 was the best choice. Again, sensing also all those penetration bullets there to help, versus the Panther and stuff there. Yet he went for the Katyusha, and I feel that was a really poor read there, which I think really gave Jove a tactical advantage over Gastrodon. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. If you like what you can, donate or pledge on Patreon. Links are in the video description. This is Imperial Linking. Cheers. Thank you for watching. You're all a wonderful audience. Hope to see you all tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.